Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another episode of Behind the Grind with your one and only host, Simon Romero.
The 26-year-old, he is 11-3 as a professional MMA fighter. He is on a 4-fight winning streak. He fights out of Metro Fight Club. He is a Texas native and the newest UFC bantamweight, Adrian Yanez. How are you today, my friend?
Man, I'm doing real good, man. Real good. I'm blessed, man. Just excited, man. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. So how does that sound? UFC bantamweight. Has it finally kicked in yet or what?
Man, I've been letting it kick in, but at the same time, it's still a little surreal to me because this was kind of like just a dream of mine. Like I've been working towards it like for a very long time, so it's a little surreal, but at the same time, I've worked hard to get here, so I'm taking it as it goes.
Yeah. So what exactly have you been doing for everything to kick in? Have you been really like talking to the family? Have you been what have you been doing lately?
Oh man, I've been doing a lot, especially right after the Contender Series spot. Man, I've been pretty much just quarantined. So I've been quarantined, like keeping everything kind of like close and tight knit. I really didn't get to see my family. So once I got back home, I was just making my rounds, just trying to see everybody, man, because I missed them, man. I missed them a lot. So once I came home, saw my family and all that, and now like what I'm doing is I've gotten like, to me this is the most amount of followers I've ever gotten after a fight. So I was just trying to get back to everybody. I'm still in the process of trying to get back to everybody. Private message me and everything, like who DM me or anything. Like I see a lot of people that and like, man, your story helped me, thank you. And then like a lot of people trying to relate to me. So it's been one of those things where I've been like just like trying to take the time out to answer everybody. I know I'm not going to be able to get to everybody, but and I'm just like doing my best just to try, man. If I didn't get back to you, I'm so sorry, man. It's just that like I've never had to deal with this before, so it's pretty cool. And then it's also like kind of cool that like I get the chance to talk to them because I remember being that one person like at the Fan Expo. Like I went to like a Nutrition Depot Fan Expo and Cain Velasquez was there, and I was just I go up to him and be like, man, dude, you're an inspiration. I was a teenager at the time, so I was up there. I told him that. I was like, man, you're an inspiration to me. Thank you so much, and all that type of deal. So man, it's pretty cool to be on the other end. So I want to see all those messages. I try to get back to them all too. So.
Of course. So how does that feel? You're completely switching the roles. One day you were that person asking for pictures with celebrities and everything. Now you are that person, and you're going to be that person even as you climb up those rankings as well. So how do you feel that your story motivates these youngsters that look up to you? How does that feel to you?
Man, I just remember how I felt like just watching in amazement, watching people like Cain Velasquez, Anderson Silva, Michael Bisping, you got Frankie Edgar and all them guys, just looking up to them and just like constantly just being in awe. They were like kind of really big inspirations to me whenever I was growing up, you know, because Anderson Silva was never the most ripped guy. He was always like, you know, just that like the skinny guy, and he was out there putting people to sleep. Cain Velasquez, he was never the biggest heavyweight, but he was vicious and ferocious. Michael Bisping just always worked hard to get to where he got. And then Frankie Edgar, again, another person who wasn't the biggest guy in his division, but always pushed forward. Now I always felt like I related to them in that way. So like, man, I'm still gonna be that little fan. Anytime I see one of them, I'm still gonna be a little fan. Be like, dude, you're an inspiration to me and everything. Man, the switching of the roles to me, man, I'm still looking at it and I'm just like, man, I don't think I deserve this a little bit, man, because I'm still that guy. Like I'm still that person, man. I think I had ran into Thiago Santos in the Fighter Hotel that whenever I went up to the so whenever I went up there, I saw him. It was just happened by chance. I remember just looking at him and being like, that's Thiago Santos. Holy crap. So I'm always going to be that that person because, man, I look up to a lot of fighters, man. There's not one that I don't look up to because it all takes like a certain type of dedication to even get there. But man, Look, I'll take it, man. Like anybody who's looking up to me or anybody who saw my story and is inspired by it, man. I hope I can keep on inspiring anybody, because it's a great feeling knowing that people are inspired by my story and people are just looking at me for inspiration. That's pretty cool. I love it. Like if I can do that for you and be that person, if I can be somebody's Cain Velasquez, like how Cain Velasquez was to me, then man, that'd be amazing. I love that. I'll take that role, man, because I know how I felt whenever I walked up to Cain Velasquez that and told him how I felt and how he inspired me. If I can be that for somebody, man, I'll take that role, man, 100% full on.
Yeah, of course. So I find it crazy how they are motivated by you and them. It's so hard to place the words, but they're motivating you to like. I find it crazy how that actually works.
Yeah, man. I look at it and I'm just like, man, it's a trickle down effect, and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, this is pretty cool. It is really, really cool.
Yeah. So your fight only lasted, I believe it was exactly 39 seconds. So was Brady Huang or Wang, whatever, however you say it, was he what you expected in that 39 seconds?
I felt like I overestimated him just a little bit. I thought he was a little. To me, I thought he was a little bit faster. I thought he was stronger. But I do that with all my opponents. I always overestimate them. So whenever it comes into the cage, it's like I'm kind of almost like a disappointed. Like I thought this guy was better. So
Yeah.
yes. So like I had saw his last fight. He fought a tough veteran, and he kind of made it look pretty good. He made it kind of look a little bit easy. So I was looking forward to a really hard fight, but I was also looking for the finish. So when the opportunity came up, I noticed that he was covering up because I had planned for a certain thing. I was planning to come over his jab, and then like about 5 seconds before I actually hit the finishing sequence, he threw a jab. I tried to come over the top, and then he had his right hand up for the covering up for the hook. So
Okay.
I kind of already knew what I wanted to do. So I switched it up as soon as I took the step. I noticed that he wasn't throwing the jab anymore. He was just going to come for the straight right, because in my last fight, you can see where I was slipping. I was slipping the jab, coming over with the right hand. So he was going to try to feint the jab and shoot it straight right at me and try to get the that way. But I noticed that immediately. So as soon as he threw that right hand, it was like second nature to me just to slip his right hand and throw my own right, and then just follow up with the left hook. So it was just a perfect sequence. It was very technical within those first 40 seconds. So like to me, if it's a technical fight, I believe I stop anybody.
Yeah, so I wanna know about the whole experience, because like we talked about in the beginning, you've been dreaming, I guess, and working for this your whole career since your first amateur fight, correct?
Oh yes, yeah, very very first amateur fight, man. It's been a long, very very long process, man. Like I started my first fight whenever I was 17 years old, and after that fight, I continually wanted to do this. It was very I knew it was going to be a long road, but I didn't think it was going to be this long.
That long, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know how long it was going to be. I just never quit. I just kept going and trusting the process. But I had a lot of ups and downs in my career. Like after my first pro fight, I went undefeated as an amateur. Won my first pro fight, and then my second pro fight, I ended up getting my jaw broken in that fight, and I ended up losing that fight by decision. So that took me like steps. It took me a while to come back, and then I went on a win streak. And then I lose a close split decision. I go on another win streak, and I lose a close split decision. And those times I lost the close split decisions, those guys end up getting the contender shot and then getting into the UFC. So it kind of like I was looking at that, I was like, I know I deserve to be at that level. Like, but there's something that needs to change. There's something that needs to go on, like with me that needs to change. And like 2019, I had that whole change, and I just started thinking differently. I started being more motivated. Like it started motivating me a little bit more because I knew I could compete at that level, and I knew that I was better than those split decision losses. So I just started switching it up. My whole mentality changed. Me and my coach got together and we're like, we need to start looking for this killer instinct that you had, as an amateur. Because as an amateur, I was just gun ho. I just wanted to finish everybody. As a pro, after my jaw break, it kind of like made me switch my whole style to be a little bit more of a counter fighter, a little bit like I just wasn't as aggressive as I should have been, and I just didn't have that full killer instinct. But once 2019 hit, I was like, I'm a killer. I'm a finisher. I'm gonna go out there and finish these guys because, like, what else do I have to lose? Like, I'm here. I'm finally about to make my UFC debut, and during this whole thing, like, it's kind of a curse and a blessing with this COVID-19 stuff because, like, the sports and everything, it's a curse with everything going on.
Of course, so you always have to look at the good side of every bad situation, if that's how I word it. But talk to me, like, you mentioned your story and everything, but what advice can you give to, I guess, a younger version of someone who wants to be like you? Like, talent can only get you so far. Obviously, you said you could have named all those different names, but you've been working through all that. So what advice can you give to a younger version of you that wants to make it to where you are today?
Man, my advice is surround yourself around good people, people that have your best interests, and also, man, like, you are who you hang out with. If you're hanging around with a bunch of people who really don't have no goals, aren't setting goals for themselves, or not trying to actively pursue like better things in their life, and they're just content with, like, man, like, I can work this low level job, or like this low level job for the rest of my life. Don't hang around those people. And if you're like consistently trying to work yourself to get into a better position, whether it's in life or in fighting, man, you got to hang around people who are like-minded as you and are motivated to keep going. Because my friends, like, they're all looking to get into a better position, whether they were in an apartment, try to get into a house, just, or starting up a family. They're always trying to better themselves, like trying to start their own business. And then also fighters, a lot of my training partners, they're striving to get to where I'm at. Like, 2 other teammates are fighting on the Contender Series, Jacob Silva and Leomano Martinez. We're grinding for the same thing. We're all grinding and continually trying to push forward and go towards the same thing. So we all have like-mindedness in this sport. And then also, man, you have to put in the work. All the skills that you think you have, they're good and all, but if you're not putting the work behind it, there's gonna be no substance. You might have the skills, but there might not be no substance. You might not, like, you go in for a fight, you can beat the guy, but the guy has just been able to outwork you. There's been a lot of times I've seen on the regional circuit where this guy's super, super talented, but then there's this guy who's like doesn't have the right skill set, or like the same amount of skill set as the other guy, just out cardio this guy and just beat him up. So, like, I've seen it. So, man, you have to work hard. If you really want to do this and you really want to pursue this career, you have to put in the work, and you have to put yourself in the right position with your friends, like-minded people. If you're in a toxic environment, man, just know that you're in it. You got to find out and know that you're in it, because sometimes you don't even know that you're in it. So you got to have the right people around you to tell you, hey,
you're in it.
This out, or like this needs to change. So it all comes around hard work and having the right people around you. Sometimes you get the mixture of neither, and sometimes they'll pop out and actually do good, but then whenever they get into like the UFC, it kind of gets exposed. So, man, like I said, man, I got like two things I got great people around me, and then also I'm just motivated, and I'm gonna keep working hard towards my goals.
Yeah, so like we mentioned earlier in this interview, you're extra motivated because you got this big UFC debut coming up. I'm glad we had this interview a little bit later because you announced it just the other day. But So you got Aaron Phillips coming up. I'm pretty sure he made his debut not long ago, and that didn't go his way. But what are you looking for in this debut matchup, I guess?
Man, I think he's one of the first. Like, he's one of two people well, I haven't faced him yet, but one other person who was a stand-up fighter, Kyle Estrada. Whenever I fought in the LFA, that guy was a stand-up striker, and I showed everybody that I'm a phenomenal striker. Against Darren Phillips, I'm looking to show more of the same. I don't think he's gonna wrestle me, but I turned strikers into wrestlers. The first person who shot on me was Kyle Estrada. And Kyle Estrada, he was the first person to shoot. Like, we're both phenomenal strikers, but I made him shoot for the takedown. So I believe I'm gonna do the same thing with Aaron Phillips. Aaron Phillips he's gonna realize how fast my hands are, and as soon as he realizes like how good I am striking, he's gonna want to shoot for the takedowns. And then whenever he finds out that I'm no slouch to take down, I might just shoot him for my own takedown and just beat him up, man. Like, I just looking at it, I think I work him, man. I think I work him. Like, he's not gonna. I don't think he has anything for me. It's a great matchup for me. A stand-up striker that's gonna help me push myself up. He might think it's gonna be a war, but man, I think I'm just gonna put a one-sided beat down that gives me a performance bonus.
For sure. So that 50 G's would be nice in the bank account.
Oh, yeah, it would look really nice in my bank account.
Yeah, so this fight is on Halloween, but I want to talk about that 50 G's. What would you do with those 50 G's if you won the fight of the night?
And I gotta invest, man. As much as I want to go out there and spend it, buy trucks, buy cars, and all this stuff, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna invest it. I'm looking to invest in the right things, not just trying to go out there and just be like, oh, like I'm starting like, this little startup company, and they don't have no real plans or anything. They're just like, yeah, I'm looking to start this. You give them the money, you never hear back from them again. So, so I'm just looking to invest into the right things. I want to get something that I like a little bit. Like something that's interesting into me. So I'm looking to invest. I don't want to be one of these fighters that has to fight for money. I want to fight because I love to do it. So for me, I know I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, I want to go out there and smash this guy, get the 50 G's, and just start investing into my future, so I can fight for what fight because I love it, not because I need the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So obviously the time hasn't come yet, but what would be something I guess you're interested in investing in? Have you had the opportunity to think about that yet?
Yeah, there's a couple things, man. There's a couple things. Definitely would want to invest and try to get into the housing market just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not fully informed on it, but I've been actively looking for people to ask to talk about it. Like my boss, he rents houses. He rents houses, so he's one of the guys that I've been picking at his brain at a little bit. And then I'm gonna try to get in touch with some of these guys who've done it and are doing it very well. Like an example, Miles Jury. That guy, if you look at his YouTube page, it's nothing but of his stuff. Like, he breaks down how much money he's made, how much his rent houses are, like what's his $1 million portfolio that he has. And I'm just like, I look at that and I'm like, that's inspiring. He's fighting because he loves to do it. So I'm gonna try to get in contact with him too. So it's like I said, man, it's just one of those things that I want to find out what I love outside of fighting. Like, what would bring me the most joy investing.
Of course, yeah. So this fight is on Halloween. When you were growing up, was Halloween something you were celebrating? Were you dressing up and going Halloween trick or treating?
Oh yeah, I was always like a ninja or a Mortal Kombat. So it seems only fitting that I get to fight on Halloween, because man, I'm gonna produce another fatality, So I'm really excited, really excited. It's like I said, man, Halloween seems fitting because I'm about to make it a bloodbath, man. I'm really super excited. To me, I'm ready. I'm pumped. It's the perfect date. It's the perfect
exactly.
date.
Yeah. How cool would it be if you walked out to some Mortal Kombat the Halloween costume?
Oh man, I thought of it. I was thinking about it, but I don't know if it would be.
I guess. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool though. All right, so I got 3 more questions for you. I want to know, will John Jones be the heavyweight champion?
Man, if Stipe is the champ and he fights Stipe, I think he can get it done. But if they match up Stipe and Francis Ngannou,
That'd be a tough one, eh?
That's a tough one. I don't like anybody's chances whenever it comes to Francis Ngannou's power, unless you just wrestle him the whole entire time. But from what I've been hearing, he's worked on his wrestling. But you can say that, but then when the fight, it's not there. But man, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a toss-up one for me. But I can see it happening. I definitely can see it happening.
For sure. So that's all I have for you today, my friend. First of all, I want to thank you for stopping by the show today. But before I let you go, I want to give you the opportunity to thank anyone that has helped you along this crazy journey so far. The floor is all yours.
Oh, man, I just want to give a big shout out to my team, Metro Fight Club, and my coach, Saul Solis. Biggest thanks to him. After my first fight, my first MMA fight, I've been with him ever since. He helped me get to this journey, and if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd be in this spot today. And then also want to thank my management team, Rudy Sports Agency, with Jason House and all them. They're phenomenal. They helped me get to this point too, man. They're great, man. Much love. Also, big shout out to HKA USA. They gave me a whole bunch of training gear for me for this fight camp. So I'm blessed, man. I'm super blessed, man. Just gotta give a big thanks to everybody who's following me too, man. Thank you. Y'all guys are helping me helping me out, by following me. So thank y'all so much. Follow me on Instagram at Adrian Yanez 93, on Twitter Yanez MMA, and on Facebook Adrian Yanez MMA, all spaced out. And then also too, you can send me a friend request. I haven't hit 5,000 friends yet, so if you want to be one of the lucky ones, go ahead and send me a friend request.
Maybe I'll be the 5,000th one. Awesome. So like I said, it was awesome talking to you today. Hopefully you're staying safe and no injuries from that 39-second fight. And we'll be seeing you at your UFC debut.